This is CBC Here and Now.
Well, these trailers here, I mean, we got a 2019, you got 16,000 kilometers on it. It's about 120,000 retail. We figure it's going to bring anywhere from 55 to 70 grand. So less than that price. You know, it's a shame that's going on. Pat's been in business for, 25 years. He's been the king of the business. So it's really sad to see this happen.
A steal of a deal at Islander RV.
RVs and trailers are up on auction this weekend as the company files for bankruptcy.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Peter Cowan. After months of financial hardships, Islander RV is coming to an end this weekend. An auctioneer will sell off everything on the lot, with hundreds of potential buyers expected to show up.
As Here and Now's Ryan Cook reports, the sale comes as Islander RV accepts its fate.
Well, a steal of a deal on one of these luxury machines comes with a cost to the community. Islander RV, a fixture in the province since the mid-90s, has now filed for bankruptcy.
Owner Pat Squires signed papers yesterday confirming the troubled company was insolvent. It lists assets of over $8 million, while $10.2 million in liabilities sank the ship. But the bad news comes with a plus side to anyone in the market for an RV.
Everyone's going to save anywhere from 30 to 60% on the sticker price. So, I mean, there's no better time to buy.
Roach's Auctions has never done a bigger sale. Motorhomes, travel trailers, quads, and skidoos. It's drawn hundreds of onlookers over the past 2 days, eager for Saturday's sale. Roach will do well on the auction, but the misfortunes of Islander RV are not far from his mind.
It's a shame that's going on. Pat's been in business for, 25 years. I mean, he's been a fixture in the, he's been the king of the business. So it's really sad to see this happen, but, it's the economy.
Islanders slipped into trouble in late July as their lenders closed in on them. The Grand Falls-Windsor location was closed and listed for sale. Then Squires' golf course was listed for sale in Hatchet Cove. And now, these luxury RVs.
Backsplash, center island kitchen, big screen TV.
The company owed more than $2 million to Wells Fargo, $500,000 to the CRA, and more than $750,000 to its owner, Pat Squires himself. Roach hopes the sale can help the company get out from under its debts and bring a few deals to people in the process. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, jury deliberations have begun in the case of a man accused of attempting to murder his wife in St. John's. 58-year-old Mark Rumbold is charged with attempted murder and administering a noxious substance. Police believe Rumbold slipped drugs into alcoholic drinks and gave them to his wife. He's also accused of trying to kill her when she was recovering in hospital. Justice David Hurley gave his instructions to the jury earlier today.
A Mouland student is raising concerns over a psychologist working at the school's wellness center. She went in for an appointment, all was fine, but when she came out and Googled the man she had just seen, she was furious what she found. Here Now's Katie Breen is at the university tonight. Katie, what did she come across?
She found a CBC article from 2009 that said Michael Doyle, the psychologist she just sat with, previously had an inappropriate relationship with another student and patient, kissing her and asking her to be his bed buddy.
The door was closed and it was just him and I one-on-one.
But Neji says she wouldn't have gone in there if she knew Michael Doyle's past.
The wellness center should be a safe environment for students, and students go there feeling so vulnerable and they want help from someone else, and so he's in a position of power where he can help you and he can guide you, and the fact that he did not respect his power and he took advantage of it and took advantage of someone else, that's not right.
In 2009, the Newfoundland and Labrador Psychology Board suspended Doyle from practicing for 4 months and then put him on probation for a year. The tribunal found he had made comments to a patient that constituted sexual harassment, that there was inappropriate physical contact. And when the patient stopped the therapy, Doyle refused to end contact with her.
I was not told, I wasn't aware going into that meeting, made me really mad and furious.
Neji wants other students to know Doyle's past so they don't see him unknowingly. That's why she's going public.
Students have the right to know of who he is and what he's done, and if Mouland doesn't want to say it, then I will.
Munn says Doyle is a registered psychologist with the province, and if anyone has an issue with him, to reach out to the Psychologist Board of Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, I did reach out to that group, but they said my request for comment was going to be forwarded on to their lawyer. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Katie Breen in St. John's.
Well, it's Friday, and it's Friday before a long weekend. Let's have a look at a snapshot of how your weekend is shaping up so far. It is looking fantastic on the island. Lots of sunshine to enjoy on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures around 9 or 10 degrees in most places. In Labrador, very similar story. A tad bit cooler, chance of some flurries for some areas, but overall looking just fantastic. I will break down all the glorious details a little bit later.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. There was more tension today at the Muskrat Falls inquiry. Some pointed testimony from a Memorial University engineering professor who had lawyers taking exception to what he had to say. Stephen Bruneau championed the option of using natural gas from the offshore to power the island's electricity needs rather than Muskrat Falls. And the Munn prof believes that idea was unfairly ruled out. There were studies commissioned in 2012 in response to Bruneau's own findings around natural gas. During today's testimony, he sharply questioned those studies. That led lawyers to ask for more time before cross-examining him.
What ZIF's report is saying is that the capital cost of under $2 billion, or around about $2 billion, cannot be justified on the basis of the demonstrably small market for power on the island. This is from ZIF. Were they aware of the alternatives, I wonder? Something is only uneconomical when alternatives are available that are more economical.
We were literally handed 5 minutes before he took the stand a 17-page synopsis of his report that takes some very strong issues and raises some very strong arguments for which no council has had an opportunity to sit down and review, but for the fact that he has spoken to these issues. So I can state for the record that council have some very serious concerns about the way this witness has been presented and the manner in which it has been dealt with.
Now, Bruneau will return to the stand when the lawyers have had a chance to prepare a cross-examination.
Well, sticking with Muskrat Falls, we're following up tonight on a story we brought you last night. There are conflicting messages today from the company that runs the Muskrat Falls hydro project and the main contractor there. Nalcor Energy is denying claims by Astaldi that the two sides are in talks over extra costs incurred in Labrador. But Astaldi says it has made it clear to Nalcor that it wants more money. Here Now's Rob Antle has the latest.
There's one thing both sides can agree on. Astaldi's work on Muskrat Falls is almost done. But beyond that, apparently not much. Astaldi said yesterday it's in discussions with Nalcor, hoping to reach an agreement on extra costs incurred for work on Muskrat Falls. Yesterday, Nalcor declined to comment on any such talks. Today, Nalcor CEO Stan Marshall issued a statement saying they aren't happening. Nalcor advises that no discussions are being held with Astaldi in relation to extra cost incurred by Astaldi at Muskrat Falls. Marshall said Nalcor is making payments to Astaldi in accordance with its contracts, and added that Astaldi is responsible for any money it owes to subcontractors and suppliers. Astaldi is facing financial problems both locally and internationally. The Italian parent company has filed for a type of creditor protection. And here, suppliers and unions have filed lien claims totaling $34 million over unpaid bills. But now Astaldi wants compensation for increased costs it says have been caused by other contractors. Astaldi says it's gone to arbitration and issued this shot across the bow. Astaldi would like a reasonable commercial solution to the important issues raised in the arbitration, but will follow all necessary procedures required to obtain compensation in the event that a reasonable solution cannot be reached. In the meantime, Astaldi says it continues to engage with Nalcor, but based on Stan Marshall's statement today, it's not clear if Nalcor is engaging back. Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
While south of the border, Brett Kavanaugh is one step closer to becoming a U.S. Supreme Court justice. Senators voted this morning to advance his controversial nomination to a full vote tomorrow. and all eyes were on 4 particular lawmakers when that preliminary vote was taken.
Collins, Mr. Flake, Mr. Manchin, Ms. Murkowski.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the noes are 49. The motion is agreed to.
West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin joined Republicans Jeff Flake and Susan Collins in moving the nomination forward, but Alaska's Lisa Murawski broke with the Republican Party and voted no. Flake now says he'll vote yes, but Kavanaugh's opponents aren't giving up just yet.
And it's our duty to change it. Yeah.
Outside the Capitol building, protests continued against Brett Kavanaugh. That after more than 300 people were arrested yesterday in a demonstration sparked by allegations of sexual misconduct against Kavanaugh by several women. There have been similar scenes elsewhere in Washington and today around constituency offices in the home states of those few senators who have wavered on this nomination. Well, back in this province, it was a confusing salmon season in Newfoundland and Labrador with limited tags and catch and release only for part of the season, and it seems some fishermen didn't want to follow the rules. Fisheries and Oceans Canada laid 136 charges over the season. The biggest concern were the 9 people charged with netting salmon. Another 15 were fishing on a closed section of the river. I met up with a DFO official today to find out what he saw. There was a lot of concern with catch and release fishing this summer that would lead to more poaching of salmon. What have you seen with your numbers?
Well, our reports didn't indicate a lot of extra poaching activity, and our guardians were regularly patrolling the rivers at all times, even during catch and release, because you had to take hundreds and hundreds of temperatures in order to monitor the rivers. But we didn't see an actual increase in violations based on that.
Could it just be that the poachers are getting better and just because you didn't catch them doesn't mean they're not poaching?
Well, they can certainly be pretty sneaky, but we stay on top of them, like, you know, and we did catch some people this year netting salmon in inland and coastal waters.
So is netting salmon the biggest problem you've seen?
Well, it's the most destructive and the one that we're most concerned about. But we'll also run into violations like people not tagging their salmon, fishing in a closed area of the river where the fish are vulnerable, things like that as well.
And could some of that be confusion over the fact that we did have the rules change partway through the summer? We also had a fair number of rivers that were opening and closing because of water temperatures?
Yeah, no, it didn't cause a lot of confusion, I must say. Like, people understood, because we came out early on and said that we were going to do just one fish, that one red tag for tagging starting off, and people understood that. And then once the decision came out after the mid-season review on July 19th, the announcement was made, then we went to catch and release only. And we set it at an 18-degree water temperature protocol at that time.
And when you saw people out on the river, were they in fact catching and releasing, or were there some people who were still keeping a few salmon a little hidden away?
Well, that can happen as well, you know, and we had to be very vigilant and do good comprehensive inspections for that. And this year we completed 4,100 inspections. And to get the number of violations that we had actually shows like a good compliance level. And people did adhere to the catch and release regulations as well. But one thing I will say is that at Newfoundland, a lot of our anglers are predominantly catch and retain fishermen. So after they caught their one salmon, they were sort of finished up for the year.
So they just then decided, okay, I've got my salmon, I'm not going to go out fishing at all.
Yes, that's right. Where, you know, we do have some fishermen that love catch and release salmon fishing as well, and you would see them on the river afterwards. But the numbers dropped dramatically on the rivers once people had their tag filled and July 19th came.
With the lower fees this year, did you see any difference in terms of who actually went out onto the river?
Yes, we did. Our guardians noticed that there was more families and more children on the rivers this year than before, but not a substantial amount. Not like, oh, every river is full of children this year, because that wasn't the case. So there was actually, you know, they did see an increase, but not too bad.
Well, a new president and CEO has been appointed to oversee Central Health. Andre Robichaud starts her duties on November 5th. She will be in place for a 5-year term. Robichaud has experience in both rural and urban healthcare. She most recently worked in Scarborough. Before that, she worked in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and Bathurst, New Brunswick. Central Health's previous CEO, Rosemary Goodyear, stepped down last February. Well, is it a Thanksgiving Day mystery, or are turkeys escaping their fate on the dinner table?
Yeah, we've seen all sorts of photos and videos on social media with what looks like turkeys wandering around the Cove Valley Golf Course and other parts of the east end of St. John's. And Carolyn, no one seems to know how they ended up there.
Nope.
Let's take a look.
Now, the birds are not native to Newfoundland, but it's not the first time they've made an appearance. Some wild turkeys showed up in the Codroy Valley about 8 years ago.
One hobby farmer in Ochre Pit Cove has a theory about the wild turkeys. He says he's heard for years of people raising the animals and potentially letting them loose. Or maybe they've flown the coop on their own.
No doubt they'll be hiding out this weekend.
Well, so if you haven't picked up your Thanksgiving turkey, I know where you can get one. A little bit of work, though. We've been talking this week about a piece of Jewish history in St. John's, saved in just the nick of time. Tonight we'll tell you about some plans for a Jewish history exhibit at the Rooms. Welcome back to Here Now. It was kind of a rough start to the morning with all the rain, but it was so warm this afternoon.
It was so
we
nice.
We had a bit of sun here in St. John's. Please tell me we get this all weekend?
Well, sunshine, yes, but those temperatures aren't going to be sticking around. But before we get to that,
yeah, it is starting to look like fall.
It totally is.
We're starting to see those trees change. And let's take a look at Corner Brook, which is in the midst of this fall splendor. Colleen Connor shot this video for us today. You can see the orange, yellow, reds, purple leaves peeping out from the landscape, and many people are taking the time to take a little stroll.
Yeah, lots of lovely temperatures out that way today. Lots of sunlight, as you can see, enhancing those fall colors. But as I mentioned, the sunlight is going to be sticking around, but the temperature is not so much. It is going to be cooling down a little bit, but still we are looking at a really nice weekend. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. Lots of sunshine. So let's start by looking at the highs today. So you want to see warm temperatures, just look at the island. 19 degrees in St. John's today. St. Lawrence got up to 18 in Deer Lake. Bit cooler though in Labrador, around the freezing mark in Lab City today, so quite a difference between the island and Labrador today. Things are going to get a little bit cooler though on the island tomorrow. Now you can see it's pretty clear. We have some showers just sort of moving off the Avalon there, but we are still going to feel a little bit of the effects of Tropical Storm Leslie right down here. We're not going to get any wind, we're not going to get any rain or anything like that, but we do have a special weather statement in effect along the south coast from Port aux Basques over to Burgeo. So the tropical storm is going to cause some, large waves, some pounding surf. So it's not expected to cause much damage, but if you are in the area, you might want to avoid the coastline. Don't go down near the water because it is going to be a bit rough down there. Now we also have a wind warning still in effect for the Nain and Makovic area tonight. Gusts up to 100, 120 kilometers an hour. That should die down overnight though, but winds staying fairly strong in that area tomorrow. So clear skies overnight tonight. A few little showers expected on the Avalon Peninsula. A little more cloud cover developing, nice and clear over Labrador. So St. John's could see a little sprinkling tonight, but the rest of the island looking at a mostly cloudy evening. A northwesterly wind on the west coast, 20 to 40, so fairly calm there. For Labrador, going to stay windy in northern parts of Labrador. Chance of some flurries for the Nain area as well as for Labrador City. Some cool temperatures getting down to -4 overnight. Going to feel much cooler with the wind chill about -12, so it is going to be very chilly. And a westerly wind 30 gusting to 60, so it's going to be pretty breezy there as well. So as I mentioned, the rest of the weekend is looking quite good. Let's get into Saturday where the clouds start to clear off and everyone is looking at a really, really nice day. Just look at that. Clear skies, a little bit of cloud there mixed in, but temperatures 10 degrees on the Avalon Peninsula, 12 in Clarenville, so not as warm as it was today, but still very nice. It's going to be a crisp fall day. 10 degrees as well for central areas. On the west coast, a little bit cooler, but nice and bright. Northwesterly winds sticking around 20 to 40 there. Up in the Straits, looking at lots of sunshine there as well. A little bit windier though, 30 gusting to 60. And for the rest of Labrador, going to stay fairly breezy in the Nain area. Gusts up to 70 there, and temperatures on the cooler side though. Labrador City just getting up to a high of 2 degrees. So coming up a little bit later, I'll take you through Sunday and Monday. Peter?
Thanks, Carolyn. Last night, we brought you the story of Louis Furman and his wife, Grunya, who ran a store in downtown St. John's in the 60s and 70s. They were Jewish resistance fighters who fled to Canada in 1949 after the Second World War. So tonight, we want to give you more details about plans by the Rooms to curate an exhibit about the Jewish history in this province. This sign triggered the story this week. It was hidden underneath a Subway sign in downtown St. John's. The sandwich shop used to be a woman's clothing store owned by Furman and his wife. The sign was almost discarded, but now it will be part of a new collection coming to the Rooms. Maureen Powers, a curator with the museum, and talked to the Here and Now's Chris O'Neill-Yates about the plans for an exhibit.
As the place where the heritage and culture of Newfoundland is preserved and researched, when we saw it, I contacted Dale within 5 minutes of it being posted on the CBC website. He's like, the Rooms would like the sign. We're actively trying to collect Water Street merchant material and also, of course, Jewish stories from Newfoundland. I had an intern all summer actually researching the Jewish history in Newfoundland based on our collection and who families we can get in touch with in order to work on an exhibition about the Jewish history in Newfoundland for our level 4 exhibition hall.
So the timing of of discovering this sign is fabulous.
Oh, it was perfect. Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of like we've been talking to the Perlin family. We've been talking to other families in Newfoundland. I've been talking to Dr. Gould at MUN. So we were really trying to do this type of research right now. So it was great that this when we saw this, we're like, this is perfect. This makes great sense for it to come to the rooms.
What are the challenges that it's not in ideal condition, meaning one piece?
Yeah, one piece. Well, I mean, it does offer a bit of a challenge. Of course, it'd be nice to have it in one piece. But, you know, we have a fantastic conservation staff here. Rose Smart and is on staff at the rooms. So immediately this will have to go into our freezer in order to be frozen to kill any type of insects or activity in it. And then Rose will be able to remount it and do infill to preserve it. Yeah.
When do you expect the public will be able to come and see not just this sign, but the work you're doing to preserve the Jewish history of Water Street?
Well, we don't have any hard and fast date, of course, because you know a lot of things come up and come and go. But we have been actively working on it for about 1.5 years now, doing research and collecting and starting to put aside storylines. We already have an exhibition on the Chinese history in Newfoundland and Labrador in one of the windows that we have in that section. So this would be added to that ongoing project in that area in level 4. It was always a plan to create other stories besides what you typically hear in Newfoundland about the Catholic and the Protestant and the Indigenous community. So this is an area we set aside to look at the other communities that are in Newfoundland that make up the fabric of Newfoundland and Labrador.
One of the best descriptions I heard of this sign being found was the president at the synagogue said sometimes history taps you on the shoulder. And it certainly has with this, hasn't it?
Oh, it certainly has. I was speaking to Alan, the son of the family, yesterday, and he just had fantastic stories. And I was listening to his stories about how his parents love Newfoundland and how he loves Newfoundland and how all the people, and that they had like a little. His mother would bake Jewish treats and cakes, and how the police officers would come in. His mama and dad always had cake and coffee, so all the police officers were always welcome in to come in and have a treat during cold nights while they were on patrol, or cold days in St. John's. And how it was they said it was a real community. He said the store wasn't just a store. His father really made connections with people and was really a community center more than anything else.
Anything from a ring to bracelets to keychain.
From cutlery to cute jewelry, we'll meet the woman behind Woolaver up next.
I try to figure out
Welcome back. Well, how many of you have a chest of old silverware in your house that you don't use, but you don't quite want to get rid of? Well, that's where Donna Gardner of Wooliver Creations can help. She recycles old silverware into jewelry and home decor items. The CBC's Mark Cumby explains more in this week's What Are You At?
What Are You At? This is the St. John's Farmers Market. Every Wednesday and Saturday, people pile in search of food and handmade craft items. And one of the crafts people you'll meet there is Donna Gardner from Wooliver Creations. She makes jewelry, but take a close look and you'll see that this jewelry is made from recycled spoons and forks.
I make recycled silver-plated and now sterling jewelry and home decor. Anything from a ring to bracelets to keychain. When I look at a spoon or fork, I try to figure out, according to the pattern, what would it look nice as. So I never know. So this little guy, I'll probably make a little elephant out of him.
So do you see these things like in pieces like that? You pick up, you say, this fork, there's an elephant there, and I'm gonna get that out of it.
I do, because it's a nice shaped fork, and I bend the far end into his trunk, and the other ones I chop off the leg and put an eye there, and he's gonna be an elephant.
So where does this interest come from? Well, look no further than the business's namesake, Donna's mom, Ruth Wooliver.
This ring that I'm wearing here was my mother's, and she was 93 when she passed, and she wore a sterling ring. She liked her silver, and it was hers, and I got it after she passed away.
So that would have been made also from,
yes.
Was it made like from a spoon or?
Spoon or a fork end, yeah. Yeah. I love taking, like an old dirty spoon, chopping it up and making it into a beautiful piece of jewelry. And it takes time, it takes work, and I make lots of mistakes, but at the end result is nice.
Our What Are You At feature is produced in collaboration with our colleagues at CBC Radio's Weekend AM with Heather Barrett.
You can catch that show tomorrow and Sunday from 6 to 9:30 Newfoundland time on CBC Radio.
Well, today marks week 2 of Panting Under Pressure, where speedy songwriter Sean Panting is put to the test.
Yeah, the St. John's Morning Show took suggestions from you for a parody song for Panting to write in just 1 hour. The topic this week, well, the ongoing saga with Muskrat Falls.
How are you feeling about the song that you just wrote?
I think I like it. I'm not sure everybody mentioned in the song will. Shrouded in mystery, documents lost, finances secret and shady and sordid, the bottom line ever ballooning with costs that can't be believed or afforded, already over budget by the billions. If that's not expensive, it sure ain't a bargain. But don't you dare tell Danny Williams he's not the one who'll be broke and starving. Denny maintains that his team's hearts was pure through all of the underhand wheelings and dealings. The critics are reckless to question his word and nasty for hurting his feelings. Danny went madly snarling at the questions. LeBlanc wanted info, instead he got tantrums, bristling at the mere suggestion he made a mistake and we're all held to ransom. We went and elected these business tycoons who understand finance, or so they have told us. Now we got the same problems we always do, and this bill of goods that they sold us. If you're looking for leadership from Premier Ball, no dice though he lambastes the PCs for folly, passing the buck in an act of pure gall, avoiding issues with the Staldy. This morning we heard about Staldy's troubles. Wait for the sound of the other shoe dropping as prices soar, expenses double, spending tax dollars with no sign of stopping.
All right, stop panting. Whoa.
Chicken should never have a pink color. All the juices should be running clear at all times. Even if the meat appears white, the juice itself should always be clear.
Up next, we're in the kitchen with the culinary instructor.
Yes, we've got some tips about salmonella and food safety for this turkey weekend. Welcome back to Here and Now. It's Thanksgiving weekend and many people will be getting together with turkeys ready for a family feast. But while prepping your poultry, it's important to be mindful of salmonella. That bacteria can make you pretty sick. A culinary instructor from Academy Canada gives us some tips about how to tell when your turkey is done and safe to eat.
A good indication of when your poultry is done is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So your best tool for measuring that obviously would be a digital thermometer. And they're relatively inexpensive. You can get them at the supermarket, you can get them anywhere. And it's just a really wonderful tool to have to make sure that you're consuming a safe product. Some other visual indicators would be that the juice is going to be running clear in your product, and you are also going to have some loose joints around the hips. So when you're testing your meat to see if it's done when you're using the temperature method, you want to make sure that you put the probe in the thickest part of the thigh meat, which is going to be the last thing to cook, and just be sure that you're not resting it on a bone, because that'll give you some inaccurate temperature readings. Chicken should never have a pink color. All the juices should be running clear at all times. Even if the meat appears white, the juice itself should always be clear.
Some good advice there. Well, moving now from turkeys to trampolines. Are they afternoons of fun or an accident waiting to happen? Trampoline parks are open in cities across the country, and they're often marketed to kids. Serious injuries are on the rise. Marketplace's latest nationwide investigation goes inside these unregulated spaces. Charles Ciagro reports.
I wasn't really thinking anything, just that was fun to jump in.
It was just a jump, a belly flop into a foam pit, but it changed 8-year-old Chelsea Garrett's life forever.
When I hit the foam, then I heard a crack and it really hurt.
That crack was her spine. Like an increasing number of Canadian children and teens, Chelsea was seriously hurt at a trampoline park.
Audio's recording?
It's why Marketplace decided to check in on trampoline parks across the country. Hidden cameras recorded dozens of flips and stunts, maneuvers health authorities warn against.
Throw yourself in the air and land.
But often encouraged through marketing ads by the trampoline parks themselves. Producers captured several children getting hurt, some after those same risky stunts, without any employee intervention. No surprise, says the Canadian Pediatric Society's Dr. Laura Purcell. After tracking trampoline park injuries in kids from 18 hospitals across Canada, she says it's clear safety measures that are in place aren't working.
Some of the injuries are so severe that kids have to be admitted to hospital and require surgery to manage them.
The Parks in Marketplace's survey said safety is a top priority. Most injuries happen, they say, when jumpers don't follow the rules. Some added they use signs to warn about risks, and 2 said they would welcome government regulation. Charles Ciagro, CBC News, Toronto.
And you can see the full Marketplace investigation tonight right here on CBC. It's on at 8:30 in Newfoundland. That's 8 o'clock in most of Labrador.
To Indonesia now, where there are fears that more than 1,000 people are still missing following last week's devastating earthquake and tsunami. The confirmed number of dead now exceeds 1,500. Rescue workers continue to pull bodies out of the rubble, and the hope of finding anyone alive is fading. Authorities worry that the vast number of people that are trapped at a government housing complex in the city of Palu. The disasters last Friday buried more than 1,000 homes there. An Indonesian Navy frigate has arrived in Palu to bring much-needed supplies to the area where food and water are scarce. It's estimated nearly 200,000 people are in need of aid.
Nobel Peace Prize for 2018 to Denis Mukwege and Nadia Murad.
The chair of the Nobel Committee announced the co-recipients of this year's Nobel Peace Prize in Norway this morning.
That's right. Dr. Denis Mukwege is a gynecologist in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Nadia Murad is a Yazidi woman who was once held as a sex slave by ISIS in Iraq. They have both fought against sexual violence as a weapon in war.
We'll have more news and weather right after the break.
Carolyn, before you get to the weather, we want to do a little bit of looking back because you saw earlier in the show we had the story about the sign that was unearthed in downtown St. John's. Well, we want to have another walk down memory lane.
Yes, having a look at old downtown St. John's. If you were around in the 50s and 60s, you'll remember this, but some landmarks that look so different.
Absolutely.
These days. That's the Bank of
the
Montreal.
Bank of Montreal does not look like that anymore.
It does not. And the vehicles on the road definitely do not look like that anymore. I think that that's Water Street. That's where the model shop.
And look at the number of people downtown. That's one thing that strikes me about all this footage is, because I guess those days, that's where everyone went to do their shopping, and before the days of Stephenville Drive and big box stores.
Yep, beautiful sunny day there as well in
Will
that
it be
old
a nice
footage.
sunny day to walk downtown St. John's this weekend, Carolyn?
If you're going to be in downtown St. John's, it will be a great day to go for a walk tomorrow. And actually all weekend, we're looking at sunshine across the board on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's looking like just a fantastic forecast. I want to start with the satellite and radar image, a little recap of what we're dealing with tonight. There's a tropical storm Leslie way down to the south of us, but still causing a little bit of a problem along the south coast. There, the southwest coast from Port aux Basques over to Burgeo, Burin, and the southern Avalon. So there is a special weather statement warning about large waves and pounding surf, so it'll be a little bit dangerous if you're in that area, so just stay away from the coastline tomorrow. We do have this wind warning still in place for Nain and Makovic for tonight. Winds should start to ease around midnight, but stay fairly strong throughout the day tomorrow, but not quite warning strength. So yeah, tonight we're looking at wind in Nain, a chance of flurries for the island, mostly cloudy for the east, looking at a chance of maybe a little bit of drizzle or a light shower overnight tonight, a possibility of a light flurry in Lab West tonight. So as we get into tomorrow, the clouds, they disappear. A little bit cloudy over Labrador there, but the island looking fantastic tomorrow. Temperatures not as warm as they were today, that's for sure. 10 degrees in the east and in central, a little bit cooler along the south. Corner Brook looking at 8 degrees, but lots of sunshine to enjoy, and the winds fairly light as well, staying kind of strong in northern Labrador, gusts up to 70 tomorrow, and temperatures cooler there as well. Labrador City looking at 2 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds, so still pretty nice in that neck of the woods tomorrow as well. So Saturday night into Sunday, a little bit more cloud cover moves in. You can see these showers affecting the west coast of the island, but just a little bit. Could see a shower or two on the west coast. Could see a little bit of shower action for central areas, but Labrador, just sun and cloud right there. So not much happening, quite a quiet weekend weather-wise. So you see the chance of showers in central and the west coast, but sun and cloud in the east and 9 degrees as the high there as we get into Sunday night and Monday. Still staying very quiet, not much happening, not much by way of cloud cover, not much by way of precipitation at all. So yeah, Monday's looking like sun and cloud for pretty much everyone. A chance of flurries in Labrador West, and temperatures staying in that low double-digit, high single-digit range on the island. So not too bad at all, I would say. Back to you, Peter.
Waves of Change is a CBC series exploring the single-use plastics we're discarding and why we need to clean up our act. Finding alternatives is becoming a mission for many Canadians. An event planner in Charlottetown is hoping dishes and cutlery made with wheat bran will help. The CBC's Nancy Russell reports.
Mark Carr-Rollitt is putting a bowl made of wheat bran to the test here at the Charlottetown Farmers Market.
I think I'm like lots of people, you look around, there's plastic everywhere. We seem to be drowning in it. Also because I'm an event planner, I see, festivals and how much plastic gets generated there, how much waste.
Carr-Rollitt looked around for alternatives to single-use plastic and found this company in Poland. Biotrem makes plates, bowls, and cutlery from wheat bran, using pressure and a little bit of water. Now he's showing them off, hoping that there will be enough interest to bring over a shipping container from Poland.
It costs about $20,000 to bring a container over. So you'd have to have at least a few farmers markets in the region, maybe some small retail, maybe a couple of festivals.
Carr Rowlett knows cost will be a factor. He's still crunching the numbers, including shipping and duties.
Any of the alternatives are going to cost more than plastic. That's the bottom line. The trick for somebody like me is to get the pricing as close as possible.
Tyler Gallant has already made the switch to more biodegradable options, using cardboard trays and cutlery made of cornstarch.
Of course, it is a little bit more expensive to buy these items. We choose to either take the hit ourselves or transfer a bit of that cost onto our consumer.
Many vendors have already switched to more environmentally friendly options here, including real plates and cutlery washed after every use. The wheat brand plates and cutlery could be one more option.
Although we do talk about the cost, more and more vendors are taking in that extra 5 cents per unit, and because they believe in saving the environment.
If all goes well, Carr Rowlett is even considering a production plant on PEI. So far, Carr Rowlett is financing the project himself, but if there is enough demand, he hopes to tap into provincial and federal funding for green technology. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Charlottetown.
If you want to find out more about our Waves of Change project, you can go to cbc.ca/Waves of Change.
And here's our viewer photo of the day: sunshine and a moose. Almost looks like he's posing for the picture.
Perfect day to be outside in the sun.
Absolutely. I'll tell you where the shot was taken after the break. Welcome back. Well, next is a video of a sight that could have been captured here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, 2 moose fighting in the woods of New Brunswick, and it's become an internet hit. Have a look.
Wow, more than 500,000 people have viewed this spectacle of 2 bull moose in head-to-head combat. A forestry worker stumbled across the scene this week as he and his friend were hiking in northern New Brunswick.
Denis Levesque says the dust and the noise of the clashing antlers gave him goosebumps. He figured the bulls were duking it out over a female. Levesque is keeping the exact location of the brawl secret to help protect the animals.
Good. Well, time now to see who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries.
This lovely couple was married on October 2nd, 1944. Happy 74th anniversary to Max and Georgina Curtis of Cox's Cove. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Shirley and Len Hodder of New Bonaventure, Trinity Bay. Happy 50th anniversary to Harvey and Agnes Drover of Upper Island Cove. Congratulations to George and Donna Brake of Trout River, who celebrated their 50th anniversary yesterday. Esau and Ruby Comden also celebrated their 50th anniversary yesterday. Congratulations.
90th birthday wishes to Douglas Ivany of Mount Pearl in Random Island. He's a Korean War veteran and was one of the first 50 Newfoundlanders to join the Royal Canadian Navy after Confederation. Happy birthday to Susie Noseworthy, who is celebrating her 93rd birthday today. She's originally from Silver Fox Island, but has lived most of her life in Pooch Cove. Happy 90th birthday to Mary Hicks of Grand Falls-Windsor. She is the family historian and, among other things, is well known for her Christmas puddings. Happy birthday to Jean Gullidge, celebrating her 91st birthday tomorrow. She was born and raised in Curling and now lives in Bay of Islands. Happy birthday to Jane Dooley of Sweet Bay, who celebrates her 96th birthday on Monday.
Happy 54th anniversary to Ward and Verna Pye of Lodge Bay. They celebrated their special day on September 30th. Wishing Freeman and Maisie Brake of Cornerbrook a happy 60th anniversary. 64th wedding anniversary wishes to Frank and Susie Young from Beachside, now living in Springdale. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Urban and Bessie White of Stephenville Crossing. They celebrated on September 30th. Anniversary greetings going out to Harold and Golda May from Kings Point, who are celebrating 64 years of marriage today.
Happy 63rd wedding anniversary tomorrow to Doris and Naaman Mouland of Mount Pearl. Happy 90th birthday to Eileen Mary Goss of Cornerbrook. Teresa Bennett of Stephenville celebrated her 90th birthday on September 28th. Happy belated birthday to you. Congratulations and best wishes to Bob Barrett of Old Perlican, who is celebrating his 91st birthday today. Happy birthday to Henrietta Philpott of the Goulds, formerly of Plate Cove East. Henrietta turned 92 earlier this week.
Desmond and Mildred Slade from Salmon Cove, now residing in Kamloops, BC, are celebrating their 63rd wedding anniversary this Monday. Congratulations to Irma and Sterling Freak from Appleton, celebrating 65 years of marriage on Sunday. Happy 72nd wedding anniversary to Merle and Madge Berkshire from Elliott's Cove, Random Island. Congratulations to Carl and Hilda Alcock on their 70th wedding anniversary. Carl and Hilda were longtime residents of Paradise before moving with family to Oshawa 4 years ago. Happy 55th wedding anniversary to Warren and Marion Abbott. And happy birthday to Chess Hardiman of Buckens. He will celebrate his 91st birthday on Sunday.
Another fine crowd this week.
A good weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, to be thankful for all those years that you've either been alive or that you've been together.
People that you love.
Yeah.
Well, have a look at our viewer photo of the day. I love this one. It kind of looks like the moose is posing. It's a lovely shot. This was taken in a Grand Falls-Windsor.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Corduroy Brook Trail, I believe.
Beautiful shot there by Jennifer Evans. Thanks for sending that in.
Yep, fantastic. And if you have a photo that you would like to see on air or on our website, we have a great audience gallery on the cbc.ca/NL website. But just email your photos to nlphotos@cbc.ca. Some great, and it's a great time of year too for
Absolutely. The
pictures.
fall colors are out. We saw from the video from Colleen, on the west coast, starting to come out a little bit here in the east, and it sounds like a great weekend for getting out for a little bit of a hike.
Yeah.
Not the warm temperatures we had today, sadly, but
yeah. Send us your pictures from the weekend. We'll air them on Monday if we can. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great weekend.
We're off on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday.